obviously. Now, if you could tell me about your character in Grimm, that would be great.
My character is Detective Hank Griffin.
Okay.
I'd say he's probably been on the force about 20 years or so. He has 4 ex-wives. That's sort of
That's
my
a few.
character's claim to fame.
Right.
And I kind of characterize him as old police. Sort of very cynical. You know what I mean? About the world and about crime in general.
Right.
Has a lovely sense of humor, and and a guy who's sort of a little skeptical about this relationship, but embracing it nonetheless.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just kind of curious about who this young man is with this uncanny ability to just size people up, I guess.
Right.
But I mean, right now I'm still sort of discovering who he is myself. You know what I mean? That's kind of all I kind of know, other than getting into like character backstory and all that kind of stuff like that I do for myself.
Right. So your character is involved with the crime scenes. Do you know anything about Nick's secret?
No,
Do you find
I
okay, you
don't.
don't find
No,
out about that?
Not at all. Again, I just know that he sort of has a sixth sense of just kind of, as I said, sort of being able to sort of size people up. You know what I mean? Just kind of break them down a little bit, which is one of those things, just a street sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you will.
Okay. So, of the fairy tales you've covered so far, and fairy tales maybe knowing coming up soon, what is your favorite? Like, of what you've done so far, what seemed like the coolest fairy tale to you?
The coolest one, honestly, is the Pied Piper.
Okay.
We're doing that, even though I can't stand rats, they're disgusting to me. But just the knowing what the original fairy tale was based on, about this community that was, inundated with rats, and paid the Pied Piper to get rid of them, and then he didn't. They didn't pay him. You know what I mean? And then he took the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of fascinating, and sort of our take on it in the show is that you have this musical prodigy who is from the wrong side of the tracks, if you will, and goes to this private school where obviously he's an outsider, and he's not able. He's the best musician, violinist. What is it? Violinist.
Probably.
In the school, but. He's not able to play, with the orchestra.
Okay.
And so just him having this ability to, the rats become his audience. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's just that's to me just fascinating to me. And also he's a DJ by night. You know what I mean? And so he has this sort of this alter ego as as a sort of a cat-like figure, but then he has this affinity for rats. So to me it's just interesting, and just the ability that the music, as they say, can soothe the savage beast, if you will. You know what I mean? And I love music and everything like that. So I like the idea of that of him being able to do that in the Pied Piper.
Nice. So do you have a favorite fairy tale overall? Of anyone's?
Honestly, Rapunzel.
Really?
And I think it's more of my favorite just because I was more sort of repulsed by it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I know it's kind of strange, but just the idea of this troll, capturing this girl and tucking her away and saying, okay, listen, and him saying, okay, I'll do this for you. But if you don't say my name, if you don't guess my name, then you're gonna be mine, and I have the firstborn, and all that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, it is a little bit creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy, but it's just like the fact is they're all creepy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think so. You have to sort of have a twisted, sense about yourself to sort of have favorites, but the creepiness about it is just sort of what I kind of like. I mean, even when you look at Cinderella, the creepiness of these women like cutting off their toes to fit into
that's pretty
glass
creepy.
slippers, and you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So it's all there, And I guess what's the warning in that? It's like don't talk to strangers. I don't know. You know what I mean?
There's so many of them. It's hard to keep track of them sometimes.
Yeah, but they're fun. You know what I mean? And and I only know a handful of them. At best, but. And then there's some you don't know. You're wondering, is that a Grimm fairy tale? Was that something that he's something about? I don't know.
Right.
But no, I think. But I really dig the Pied Piper most of all. I think just because of the music, aspect of it.
Oh. So what do you think it is about Grimm that's going to draw on audiences? What's going to make people want to watch the show?
Well, I think are sort of are basing it in a reality in a sort of a real setting that these aren't parallel universes. That there are these walks of life among us. There are Blutbads and Millifers that actually live among us, much like the evil that lurks in the hearts of men, except they have these alter egos. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just it's like it's almost like the sixth sense that like an old person has. That they can look at somebody and say, "Ooh, I wouldn't trust that person." Or they look at you and they say, "Baby, ooh, your eyes are shining. You got you have just a, you know what I mean?" And I think that's kind of what David's character represents.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A person who can see the good and the evil in people, literally.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I like the idea of that the real world has enveloped this fairy tale world. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we all exist together. And how we got here, okay, who knows? We're kind of, but
that's another story.
we're here. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And they all live amongst us. So yeah, it's like, how does one become evil? You know what I mean? Is sort of the question. You know what I mean? And how does one stay good? What is it that corrupts man? You know what I mean? It's those kind of questions.
Right.
More than, and that's what it is for me.
Okay.
The mythology aspect is for the writers to decide. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of how this world came about, or how these people exist in the first place.
Okay.
But for me, it's good versus evil. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is an everyday occurrence. You know what I mean? That there are good and bad equally amongst us, and we have to sort of and within us. You know what I mean? We're constantly doing battle with our inner demons and and whatnot.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And hope to see the show soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.